Everyone tells you to wait until 70 to claim Social Security. Maximum benefit, 8% growth every year. It sounds like the smart play. But here's what nobody talks about. While you're waiting for that bigger check, you could be quietly draining your retirement portfolio in ways that destroy your long-term financial security. This is a fan-made educational episode, and some narration may be AI-generated and is not the real voice or statements of any individual. I've watched thousands of retirement decisions unfold over the years, and I keep seeing the same costly mistake. People focus on maximizing their Social Security benefit while ignoring what happens to everything else during those bridge years. Let me tell you about Carlos and Janet. He's 62, she's 60. They've saved $800,000 and plan to wait until 70 to claim Social Security. Sounds smart, right? The break-even calculators all say wait, but those calculators don't show you what happens to their portfolio during the 8 years they're waiting. Most people think the decision comes down to simple math. If Carlos claims at 62, he gets about $2,100 per month. If he waits until 70, he gets $3,700. The break-even calculators say if he lives past 81, waiting pays off. But break-even math is dangerously incomplete. It assumes your money sits in a vacuum. It ignores what happens to your savings while you wait. It doesn't account for market crashes, inflation, or the simple fact that every dollar you withdraw from your portfolio is gone forever. Here's the hidden cost nobody talks about. While Carlos and Janet wait for their bigger Social Security checks, they need $60,000 a year to live. That money has to come from somewhere. Their $800,000 portfolio becomes their bridge fund, and every withdrawal puts pressure on their long-term security. Now let's make this practical. What if the market crashes in year 2 of their wait? Their portfolio drops 30%, down to $420,000, but they still need that $60,000 to live. Now they're withdrawing 14% of their remaining balance just to survive. That's a death spiral. Let's run the numbers. In a normal market, Carlos and Janet might withdraw 7.5% annually from their portfolio during the bridge years. Aggressive but manageable. But in a bear market scenario, that withdrawal rate jumps to 12, 14, even 16%. Their portfolio can't sustain that pressure. Here's the part most people miss. Once you start withdrawing at those rates, compound growth works against you. Every dollar you pull out is a dollar that can't grow. Every share you sell to fund living expenses is gone forever. The math becomes brutal. Break-even analysis only looks at Social Security in isolation. But your portfolio doesn't pause while you wait. Every year you wait, delay claiming, you're forced to withdraw more from savings. Model the total impact on your wealth, not just your monthly benefit. Let's say Carlos withdraws $60,000 annually for 8 years while waiting. That's $480,000 plus lost growth on that money. If those funds had stayed invested, earning 7% annually, that's another $200,000 in lost opportunity. Even with a bigger Social Security check later, his portfolio might never recover from those early withdrawals. Consider this scenario. Carlos claims at full retirement age instead of waiting. His benefit is $3,100 per month instead of $3,700, but by claiming earlier, he reduces his portfolio withdrawals by $37,000 annually. Over time, that preserved wealth often outweighs the smaller Social Security benefit. Action step: calculate your total portfolio value at 70 under different claiming scenarios, not just your Social Security benefit. The worst retirement outcomes happen when markets crash early. If Carlos faces a bear market in years 1 through 3 of retirement, those portfolio withdrawals become toxic. He's selling low when he should be holding. Here's a simple stress test. What if your portfolio drops 40% in year 2 and you're still withdrawing $60,000 annually? Can you survive until Social Security kicks in? Many people can't. The combination of market losses plus high withdrawal rates creates a mathematical impossibility. I've seen this scenario destroy retirement plans. Couples who looked financially secure on paper found themselves in crisis when early market downturns combined with delayed claiming strategies. They were forced to sell investments at the worst possible time. Action step: model a 30 to 40% market decline in years 2 and 3 of your retirement. Does your plan still work? If not, earlier claiming might be your safety net. Carlos is the higher earner. If he delays claiming to maximize his benefit, he's also maximizing Janet's future survivor benefit. That sounds good until you realize they might drain their portfolio in the process. But here's what most people miss. If Carlos claims earlier, they reduce portfolio pressure and preserve wealth for Janet in other ways. Sometimes a smaller Social Security check plus a larger inheritance works better than maximum Social Security, with no savings left. Let's do the math. If Carlos waits until 70, Janet gets $3,700 per month as a survivor. But if their portfolio is depleted, that's her only income. If Carlos claims at full retirement age, Janet gets $3,100 per month as a survivor, but they preserve an extra $300,000 in portfolio wealth. Which scenario leaves Janet more secure? Action step: calculate the total wealth transfer to your spouse under different scenarios, not just Social Security benefits. While you're delaying Social Security and living off portfolio withdrawals, you might be creating a tax nightmare. Traditional IRA withdrawals are fully taxable. Capital gains add to your tax bill. You could be paying higher taxes during your bridge years than if you claimed Social Security. Social Security benefits are often tax-advantaged. Only up to 85% is taxable, and many people pay much less. Sometimes the tax savings from claiming earlier outweigh the benefit increase from waiting. Carlos and Janet might pay 22% federal tax on IRA withdrawals during their bridge years. But if they claim Social Security earlier, much of that income might be tax-free or taxed at lower rates. The tax savings alone could justify earlier claiming. Action step: model your tax liability during bridge years versus claiming earlier with lower portfolio withdrawals. The perfect claiming strategy on paper might be terrible in reality. Life happens, health changes, markets crash. Sometimes claiming at full retirement age or even earlier gives you flexibility that waiting until 70 doesn't. Remember, Social Security was designed as insurance, not an investment. It's supposed to provide security, not maximum returns. If delaying claiming creates financial stress or portfolio risk, you're missing the point. The goal isn't to maximize one variable. The goal is to optimize your total financial picture for security and peace of mind. Sometimes that means accepting a smaller Social Security benefit to preserve portfolio wealth and reduce withdrawal pressure. Action step: choose the strategy that helps you sleep at night, not just the one that looks best on a calculator. First, people treat break-even analysis as the complete answer instead of modeling what happens to their entire financial picture during the bridge years. They focus on maximizing one income stream while potentially destroying their wealth foundation. Second, they assume average market returns will arrive early and consistently. This is sequence of returns blindness. The sequence matters more than the average, especially when you're making withdrawals. Third, they ignore the complex interplay between spousal protection, taxes, and total household wealth preservation. They optimize for one variable while other variables suffer. Run a comprehensive analysis that includes portfolio withdrawals, not just Social Security benefits. Model multiple market scenarios, especially early downturns. Calculate your total tax burden under different claiming strategies. Consider your spouse's long-term financial security from all sources, not just Social Security. Stress test your plan against major market volatility in years 1 through 5 of retirement. Factor in your health, family longevity, and risk tolerance. Some people should wait until 70, but many shouldn't. Test different withdrawal rates during bridge years to see what your portfolio can actually sustain. Calculate the opportunity cost of dollars withdrawn from your portfolio versus dollars received from Social Security. Sometimes preserving portfolio wealth trumps maximizing Social Security benefits. Remember to verify all strategies with official sources, like SSA.gov, before making final decisions. Waiting until 70 might maximize your Social Security benefit, but it could minimize your total financial security. The bridge years matter as much as the benefit years. Sequence of returns risk can destroy even well-funded retirements when you're forced to withdraw during market downturns. The smartest claiming strategy isn't always the one that maximizes Social Security. It's the one that maximizes your total financial security and peace of mind. This information is educational only and not financial advice. Always consult qualified professionals before making claiming decisions.